I'm Jeremy. Today's day 163 of reading. Today we're reading Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Let's get started. We're on page 213. But Harry lay still, pretending to be asleep. He heard Ron leave again and rolled over on his back, his eyes wide open. A hatred such as he had never known before was coursing through Harry like poison. He could see Black laughing at him through the darkness, as though somebody had pasted the picture from the album over his eyes. He watched, as though someone was playing him a piece of a film, Sirius Black blasting Peter Pettigrew, who resembled Neville Longbottom, into 1,000 pieces. He could hear, though having no idea what Black's voice might sound like, a low, excited mutter. "It has happened, my lord. The Potters have made me their secret keeper." And then came another voice, laughing shrilly, the same laugh that Harry heard inside his head whenever the Dementors drew near. "Harry, you look terrible." Harry hadn't gotten to sleep until daybreak. He had awoken to find the dormitory deserted, dressed, and gone down the spiral staircase to a common room that was completely empty except for Ron, who was eating a peppermint toad and massaging his stomach, and Hermione, who had spread her homework over 3 tables. "Where's everyone?" said Harry. "Gone! It's the first day of the holidays, remember?" said Ron, watching Harry very closely. "It's nearly lunchtime. I was going to come and wake you up in a minute." Harry slumped into a chair next to the fire. Snow was still falling outside the windows. Crookshanks was spread out in front of the fire like a large ginger rug. "You really don't look well, said Hermione, peering anxiously into his face. "I'm fine," said Harry. "Harry, listen," said Hermione, exchanging a look with Ron. "You must be really upset about what we heard yesterday, but the thing is, you mustn't go doing anything stupid." "Like what?" said Harry. "Like trying to go after Black," said Ron sharply. Harry could tell they had rehearsed this conversation while he had been asleep. He didn't say anything. "You won't, but will you, Harry?" said Hermione. "Because Black's not worth dying for," said Ron. Harry looked at them. They didn't seem to understand at all. "Harry, do you know what I see and hear every time a Dementor gets too near me?" Ron and Hermione shook their heads, looking apprehensive. "I can hear my mom screaming and pleading with Voldemort. And if you ever heard your mom screaming like that, just about to be killed, you wouldn't forget in a hurry. And if you found out someone who was supposed to be a friend of hers betrayed her and sent Voldemort after her, there's nothing you can do," said Hermione, looking stricken. "The Dementors will catch Black, and he'll go back to Azkaban, and serves him right." "You heard what Fudge said. Black isn't affected by Azkaban like normal people are. It's not a punishment for him, like it is for the others." "So what are you saying?" said Ron, looking very tense. "You want to kill Black or something?" "Don't be silly," said Hermione in a panicky voice. "Harry doesn't want to kill anyone. Do you, Harry?" Again, Harry didn't want to answer. He didn't know what he wanted to do. All he knew was that the idea of doing nothing while Black was at the Liberty was almost more than he could stand. "Malfoy knows," he said abruptly. "Remember what he said to me in Potion? If it was me, I'd hunt him down myself. I want revenge." "You're going to take Malfoy's advice instead of ours?" said Ron furiously. "Listen, you know what Pettigrew's mother got back after Black had finished with him. Dad told me. The Order of Merlin, first class, and Pettigrew's finger in a box. That was the biggest piece of him they could find. Black's a madman, Harry, and he's dangerous. Malfoy's dad must have told him, said Harry, ignoring Ron. He was right in Voldemort's inner circle. Say you know who, will you? Interjected Ron angrily. So obviously the Malfoys knew Black was working for Voldemort, and Malfoy'd love to see you get blown to about 1,000,000 pieces, like Pettigrew. Get a grip. Malfoy's just hoping you'll get yourself killed before he has to play you at Quidditch. Harry, please, said Hermione, her eyes now shining with tears. Please be sensible. Black did a terrible, terrible thing, but don't put yourself in danger. It's what Black wants. Oh, Harry, you'd be playing right into Black's hands if you went looking for him. Your mom and dad wouldn't want you to get hurt, would they? They'd never want you to go looking for Black. They never want you to go looking for Black. I'll never know what they'd have wanted because thanks to Black, I've never spoken to them, said Harry shortly. There was a silence in which Crookshanks stretched luxuriously, flexing his claws. Ron's pocket quivered. Look, said Ron, obviously casting around for a change of subject. It's the holidays. It's nearly Christmas. Let's go down and see Hagrid. We haven't visited him for ages. No, said Hermione quickly. Harry isn't supposed to leave the castle. Ron? Yeah, let's go, said Harry, sitting up, and I can ask him all about how come he never mentioned Black when he told me all about my parents. Further discussion of Sirius Black plainly wasn't what Ron had in mind. Or we could just have a game of chess, he said hastily, or gobstones. Percy left the set. No, let's visit Hagrid, said Harry firmly. So they got into their cloaks from their dormitories and set after the portrait hole. Stand and fight, you yellow-bellied mongrels! Down the empty castle and out to the oak front doors. They made their way slowly down the lawn, making a shallow trench in the glittery, powdery snow. Their socks and the hems of their cloaks soaked and freezing. The forbidden forest looked as though it had been enchanted. Each tree smattered with field silver, and Hagrid's cabin looked like a giant iced cake. Ron knocked, but there was no answer. He's not out, is he? Said Hermione, who was shivering under her cloak. Ron had his ear to the door. That's a weird noise, he said. Listen, is that Fang? Harry and Hermione put their ears down to the door, too. From inside the cabin, there came a series of low, throbbing moans. Think we'd better go and get someone, said Ron nervously. Hagrid, said Harry, thumping his door. Hagrid, are you in there? There was a second of large, heavy footsteps. Then the door creaked open. Hagrid stood there with his eyes red and swollen, tears splashing down from the front of his leather vest. You've heard? He bellowed, and he flung himself onto Harry's neck. Hagrid being at least twice the size of a normal man, this was no laughing moment. Harry, about to collapse from under Hagrid's weight, was rescued by Ron and Hermione, who each seized Hagrid under an arm and heaved him back into the cabin. Hagrid allowed himself to be steered into a chair and slumped over the table, sobbing uncontrollably. His face glazed with tears that dripped down into his tangled beard. Hagrid, what is it? What is it? Said Hermione, aghast. Harry spotted an official-looking letter lying open on the table. What's this, Hagrid? Hagrid's sobs redoubled. But he showed the last letter toward Harry, who picked it up and read aloud.